Hey guys, today is a super special one. I'm sitting down with my sister Caitlyn, who is a child life specialist, and she works hands on with children who are dealing with some of life's toughest challenges, whether it's depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, emotional trauma. So, not only is she a gem of a person because she is my sister, but she really is her using her calling as a huge blessing to the world. So, hey, Caitlin, what's up?
Hi. What's up?
So, what I wanted to ask you, first of all, thank you for doing this. We really appreciate it
You're
because
welcome.
there's so many people right now who may be in a situation where their kids or their child is facing one of their biggest challenges of their entire lifetime, right?
hmm
And here they are, a young, innocent child with no life experience. So how do you help that child express their feelings because they don't have much life experience? How do you get them to open up about and talk about how they're feeling?
I think the first thing to do is build rapport. But what I do is I work in a unique population where I work on a med psych unit. So what we're seeing is kids 8 to 18, and what's happening is they're in a mental health crisis, so they need inpatient psych. So we see them for 7 to 10 days during their inpatient stay. And what's unique about our unit is it's not only a psych unit, it's med psych. So if a kid does suffer from sort of any kind of suicidal thing or whatever their psych may be, they may also have a medical component. So, for example, we might have a kid who's expressing suicidal ideation, but also a diabetic. Well, they might not be able to
Mm.
go somewhere that's straight psych. So they have to come to us because we can not only manage their psych, but also their medical need.
So you have your hands full.
Yes, so we have both components. Or
Wow.
we might have a kid who's a survivor of suicide, but they're so critical and so medical that they can't go to straight psych, so they come to us. Well, we treat their psych and their medical need.
Wow. So there we go. So that's so important. So you have parents who are listening right now who may have a child suicide. I experienced suicidal ideation for years, as you know that.
hmm
And I was very expressive with mine. I shared it with anybody I possibly could because I wanted to get out. I wanted it to end so badly, but that's not always the case
Right.
because you have kids who don't know how to express themselves.
Yes.
You have adults who don't know how to express themselves. So, what are you sharing to the parents out there right now? Help them notice maybe they can recognize some signs that they may be missing.
I would say talk to your kid. Talk to your kid. That's the number one thing. We get parents coming in all the time saying, I had no idea. I had no idea my kid felt like this. We see kids with, wounds all over their arms, cuts on their arms. I had no My kid wore long sleeves. I had no idea. I had no idea what was happening. So all you can do is talk to your kid, listen to them. If they say they need help, they mean it. Get them the help they need. That'd be the best
Okay.
route.
All right, that's great. So let me ask you this. So then what do you tell the child? Okay, that's the parent. Now, the child comes to you because you're dealing with kids hands on,
Hands on.
right? So how are you helping these children first of all understand what they're going through
hmm
because some adults will never go through what these kids are going through.
hmm
And then you have to help them express how they're feeling about what they're going through. So you have, like I said earlier, you have your hands full. What are you telling these kids to help them open up and express themselves so they can get those feelings out there so it doesn't come back and haunt them later in life?
Right. So what my job on the unit is, we run skills groups. So our groups are an hour long every day with a whole group of the kids, and we do coping with anxiety, coping with depression. We do a lot of teamwork skills, communication, how to tell people you need help, um, just any kind of specific skill that we can teach them, so that if they get back out in the real world and this happens again, what are you going to do when you face something out there? So I think the biggest thing is trying to get them, you got to build rapport with them first, get them comfortable with you, and then we can start learning some of these skills. When you're feeling really down or you're feeling really depressed, what are some things that you can do to help get out of that rut, or who are some people that you can talk to that you feel like you can trust?
Right? And I wrote a couple things down because I wanted to make sure we don't miss anything. So, what emotional or behavioral signs do you often see in kids overwhelmed or anxious in stressful environment like the hospital or even during, just during a life transition?
We see a lot of aggression, unfortunately.
Aggression?
Aggression,
Yeah.
yeah, we see a lot of that in the hospital. um, I would say other emotional things that we see are like strain with parents or caregivers. Like a lot of times they're aggressive towards their parent or caregiver. So trying to like figure out ways that we can help them cope with being with their caregiver all the time or not being with them all the time. So I would say aggression is a big behavioral sign that we see, or just like shutting down.
right? And then when you see this, now the parents like, the kid's never been in the situation, the parents never been in the situation. What are you giving these parents as tools? Like, here, take this, or here's the tools you need to help this kid get through this. What are you sharing with those parents?
So I don't do a lot of the parent support, but what we do send them home is with a packet of like, here, if your kid's in need or in
Mm-hmm.
struggling again, these are some things that you can do. We also do sometimes, I don't do them, but on our unit we do family sessions too. So like I said before, a lot of the times kids are coming in with strain with their parents. So then in those cases we'll do family sessions.
I gotcha. And what do you think the parents listening right now? What support? How do kids process this? How are kids processing what they're going through right now? Their emotions, because there's got to be a lot of confusion. Why me? Sadness. What are you seeing with those kids as
Mm-hmm.
emotions?
Yeah, I just was working with a patient yesterday who said, I just want a new life. I just want to start over. And it's super hard and super sad to hear that. But I think just like building them back up, this particular patient has like zero self esteem. So I think building them back up, building that confidence, giving them somebody who they can trust on the unit, off the unit, just anyone that they feel like they can talk to. That's the best way to go about this.
And in your experience, what is the youngest child you have seen that has either contemplated or
Great
actually
question.
or attempted suicide?
Five,
Oh,
5 years old. Yeah, we've had kids.
5 years
We don't
old.
take anyone under than 8, but we have had 5-year-olds come in our emergency department with suicidal ideation, aggression, hurting teachers at school. Like it starts, yeah, hurting animals is an early one too. Like we've had young kids, very young.
So 5 years old. 5 years old. No, what I can only guess that child is not living in a healthy household.
Yeah, a lot of these kids, especially who are that young, are in they've dealt with some sort of trauma, whatever it may be. They've Some of them have been in foster care. We've had kids bouncing from home to home, and honestly, it's, as sad as it is, the most stable placement for them is inpatient or residential. So we've had I would say a lot of our kids have had some sort of childhood trauma.
What do they? What type of suicide is a 5 year old attempting? How are they doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. They
Knives?
get
I mean,
creative. And knives is a big one. That's a big one. We have a lot of parents who we have to tell them like lock up your sharps at home, lock up knives, lock up all the weapons, anything, ropes, whatever it is. But yeah, very young.
I'm looking back when I was 5. I don't even think I knew what the word suicide meant.
Me either.
Okay, so how are they even knowing about what how are they
They
knowing?
could have a parent who has been through it, a sibling who's been through it, another family member. They might have another kid in their class at school who's had a family member go through it. It just depends.
And here's the follow up to that, because you're human. I know this is your job, right? This is what you do for a living. But how do you not come home in shambles after dealing with a 5 year old who just tried killing himself?
Yeah, no, it's hard. There has been stories that I've taken home to my husband, and he'll say, "Can you just not talk about that right now?" So it is hard, but you got to lean on your coworkers, lean on your supports, and yeah, just try not to take the heavy load home with you.
Try not to. But again, are there times where you just say, I got to step away, or are there times you question what you're getting yourself into? Because I know you love what you do.
I do love what I
You
do.
love what you do.
There are times when I'm like, "Ooh, this one really hit hard. This one hits home." But I'd say I have to have a good balance. Like I have to go for walks. I have to do good self care so that I stay balanced too, and I try not to take it home as best as I can.
And what are your daily non-negotiables? Like, what helps you prepare for that next day? You just walked out of work, man. This 5 year old tried killing himself. Hit my heart, but I got to go back to work tomorrow. So you're not out partying at night. You're not drinking. You're not screwing off. You got to take care of yourself to put yourself in the mind frame to prepare yourself to go back and do that job again and again and again. What are you doing?
Take care of yourself. Take
What's
care
that
of
look like?
yourself.
What are your non-negotiables?
I got to go for a walk. I got to get good sleep, good self care, eat a good meal. And then I think the biggest thing for me is like, you're helping somebody. So you know you can go back in the next day and help another person, and I think that's what keeps me going.
I really believe, I really believe you have to be cut out for this. I don't think this job is for everybody,
No, it's not.
and I'm almost curious to know what is the turnover like. Somebody gets himself. You went to school for this.
Mhm.
You went to for
Mhm.
psychology,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Right. Okay. So then you go to your job and like, okay, this is not for me. Do you get that?
Sometimes
With people, yeah, therapist,
from other people or for me.
specialist.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people on my team who would never touch mental health, but I'm just passionate about it. It's what I love to do. So
So your passion for helping over or succeeds I guess, the pain and the trauma you're experiencing by witnessing it.
yeah,
Because you're doing something. But it's always two ways to look at it. But God bless you for being able to do that. So somebody listening right now, sharing them as we sign off here, tell them what you think they can do to help their child at the end of the day process, understand, give them hope. I guess the biggest thing is how are we giving these kids hope that things will get better when in your heart you may not believe that.
yeah. I would say listen to your kid, talk to your kid, make sure they're hanging out with people who are good supports for them. Um, but really, that's the best course of action, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate you being here. And if there's any other people, if you guys have any questions, hit me back, and I'll get a hold of Caitlyn. And then I'm in town visiting right now, in Michigan, so she lives here. I don't. So if you guys have any questions, you want to hit us back through the social media, and maybe I'll do a Zoom with her, get her on the podcast for a webinar or live, something like that. All right.
Sounds
Thanks, guys.
good. Thanks,
Appreciate you.
Brett. Thanks for having me.
Love you.
Love you too.